Okay, yeah, welcome back to the other section of our special June 12 package. And as I said earlier, we are going to be discussing with one of those who suffered the brunt of this June 12. He was detained. Yeah, you know, they faced you were actually prosecuted, and he and some other people, he'll be narrating his experience and how it is relevant to the democracy as of today. So the person is Honorable Taiwo Akeju. Honorable sir, you're highly welcome. He's the Commissioner for Political Affairs and Intergovernmental Relations in Osun State. He was a former House of Representatives member. Honorable sir, you were one of those who suffered the brunt of the military rule during this June 12 struggle. Can you narrate your experience briefly, sir?
Well, I thank very much the moderator. All glory must be given to God for his mercies and for his support. He has helped us a lot as human beings, and of course, as a Nigerian. The journey has been so rough when we started democracy in Nigeria. You know, the military, if you go back to 1959, 60, the first coup, there have been a series of counter coups under the military, the Murtala Muhammad assassination, and of course the Second Republic, then again the overthrow of the Second Republic by the junta too again. So thereafter, when Babangida came in 85, he started the transition program that was so long. In his maiden speech, I remember in 27 August 1985, he said the transition program will be short. The terminal date was 1919, he told everybody. So, but again, there were a lot of what do I call it now? A lot of deceit in the system. This transition program was
from the military.
Yeah. So the civilian, the populace were always ready for the military. We will only follow them. I remember he started the transition program. He started with the Zero Party in 87. Interestingly, when he started the Zero Party in 1987, he threw up a lot of people. Like my friend Femi Kehinde from Ayedire, he was then in Iwo. He came up as a councillor. Adeoti, Moshood Adeoti also came out from Iwo too. He threw them up, a lot of people. My own uncle, now is late Fayokun, a lawyer from Malaysia. And a lot of people were thrown up throughout the country to participate. They participate. So you could see. So in 87, people eagerly participated. I remember in 89, he said, all of us must go and form political parties. Parties were formed. I remember I belonged to the PSP, People's Solidarity Party, led by Dr. Yemi Farounbi. And a lot of people, the whole progressive, the UPN, the MP, all of them came together. They formed the PSP. We had the PF, the People's Front, led by Sheikh Musa Yar'Adua, late, and Atiku Abubakar, Baba Kingibe. So all of it was interesting.
That was in 1989.
89. So no, because I'm just trying to give you a background. Yes. I'm trying to give you a background how we came out to June 12th thing. So we started off. Then suddenly the military just woke up one day and said, well, all the political parties were banned. So they now created two political parties in 1990. So we started off with the SDP and the NRC, National Republican Convention, and the Social Democratic Party. So we start from the Social Democratic Party represented the people from the left, called left of the center, and the called left, the extreme left. Then while the NRC went to the right of the right. So you can see, so we started off, we had local government election in 1990.
Okay.
So we could see, so the transition program, he banned some governorship candidates were banned. Some of them were detained. Some leaders like Okubolage, they were detained in the eve of the governorship election. So you could see the military. So our people we begin to smell rats. These people were not sincere about this thing. So, but again, we play along.
Okay.
We had the governorship election, and they were sworn in January 2nd.
Okay.
1992. That was Ishaka Adeleke came from Oyo and from Osun. Kolapo Oshola, later Olua from Mondo. I could say a lot of people. We lost Lagos because of the infighting. The Otola came in. It was between the touch was between Dapo Sarabin and Femi Agbajabi. So you could see we and Segun Oshoba came in from Ogun State. So we play along. The presidential election was in August. I mean, it was in June 12, 1983. I'm trying to shorten this thing so that because of the time and everything. So, before Abiola could emerge, there were a lot of the military put a lot of traps before Abiola could emerge in Jos. Our convention, the SDP convention in Jos, was on March 27 to March 29, 1993, where MP Abiola emerged as the candidate of SDP. He had a running battle, serious tussle between Atiku Abubakar and Baba Gana Kingibe. So at the end of the day, Abiola emerged. And then the issue, we now came up with the issue of running mates. The military represented by Babangida, wanted her friend, Pascal Bafiao, a Christian from the Northeast, from Adamawa, was Labour, was the NSC president. They wanted Pascal Bafiao. And again, during the convention, we had an agreement. MQ had an agreement with another very strong group within the SDP, Sheikh Mushaya Adwa, the PF, Sheikh Mushaya Adwa, that's going to feed Atiku Abubakar. Okay. And again, the governors were so powerful. People don't know that the governors have been coming together since.
The president Atiku Abubakar.
Yes. He was thrown by Yadwa to be considered as a running mate. Of course, and MQ Abubakar said, well, no problem. Then the governors forum too. We had 14 governors in SDP. 14 governors. So they came up and said, well, if you want a vote, we are the one controlling the grassroots. We are the one controlling the votes in all the states. We have 14 states out of 30 states. NRC, due to some crisis within the SDP,
okay,
the NRC has 16, including Lagos. So we said, well, MK had serious problem. The Yadwa, very formidable. Yadwa had our own friend Atiku Abubakar, because I'm close to all of them. I'm close to Atiku, I'm close to Baba, and they are my men. So they said they wanted this. So, and the military establishment, the government, Babangida said, is Pascal. So the May 1, a lot of people went to the stadium in Abuja that MK Abiola is going to announce Pascal Bafka during the May day, during May 1 day. We all went there and didn't announce anybody. So at the end of the day, after so much, because you could see some of the crisis, the tussle, the in-house politics that came out that produced June 12. This is what I'm trying to tell you. So at the end of the day, you were in Abuja. We went to where the Labour rally. We went for the Labour rally on May 1st. So we were there. MKO didn't announce anybody. 10 days after, we said, one day MKO just announced, because he had to bow to the pressure of the government, because the governors are the one that go to produce votes in the state. So he announced Baba Gana Kingibe.
So the governors were supporting, they were rooting for Baba Gana.
Yes, it was that. Look, let me tell you. He gave most of them the ticket to contest.
Okay, the chairman of the
SDP was the national chairman then, before the national executive of the party was dissolved. Both the NSI were dissolved by the Babangida. Okay. So he had the influence on the governors. Yeah, Dr. Yemi was the chairman of SDP in Osun. Okay. So he made, because and Farombi and Kingibe were very close. They made sure that and SM Afolabi, all of them came together to install Adeleke as governor.
Okay.
Donebudu Soradipo, my own brother, wanted to serve. So, but it was Kingibe and the military that said, well, Issa Kadeke. So you could see, so the Kingibe had the support base with the governors. It's supposed to go to the governors forum. So the governor was the one that said, okay, but MK, if you want our support, the Kingibe. So we went to the field, we went to the election. And again, on the eve of the election, 2 days election, we were in Abuja. There was this court ruling that election cannot continue. Injunction by the ABA. There was crisis everywhere. But the military went, the Babangida issued a statement that because there's after clause in the neck there, Okay. National Electoral Commission that nobody can stop, no court can stop election. So we went ahead with the election on June 12th.
Okay, that was how you had the election on June 12th. But I would like to say something before we go into the annulment for The annulment was actually done after the election. But sir, I would like us to go back to the politics that actually preceded it. And I'm talking about the politics that didn't produce Pascal Bassiah, that NLC president. Don't you think, because that was what the military wanted, that was one of the reasons?
No. So let me tell you, yes. Some of us were neck deep in the system. Okay. Yeah, Pascal is our friend. Okay. We belong to the same. We are social movement. We belong to the same camp. Anybody, there's nobody they will pick from the SDP that were not together. Pascal, Babangida, let me tell you, the military also want to leave. That's what is happening. They don't want to leave. If MK had picked anybody, we would have won that election. We would have won the election. But he feared that the governors forum were very powerful. They are the one that they went ahead and said, look, we own the election, we own the grassroots. Our state cannot be, if you go and pick somebody else, we won't support you.
So that was why.
Yeah, that was why, yes, that was why. Because King Igwe was with the governors. Atiku Abubakar had his own base, he had his own support base. Shehu Yar'Adua, the PF, very powerful too. They were the one that told all of them in the ESCO in April. Before election in April at convention in Abuja and Sheraton Hotel. They were the one that produced, they won everything. So they won everything, the executive, like Oshomole is doing now, like Sekondu. So they were the executive of the party. The PF, they won virtually everything, except Lamido, who was secretary, who belonged to the PSP, our own group. So
okay. Let's now talk about the politics after it and then the annulments. It was in the history that it took a lot of days before the Babangida administration annulled the June 12 election. Can you tell us what actually played out between the election and the annulment? Briefly, sir.
Yeah, you see, I remember I went to Kano. I was MQ assembled some of us, some of the young tops who have been involved in studying journalism and everything. Young tops, yeah, some of us. Myself, I went to Motor in Kano. Okay. I was on that. They left. I did something. A lot of things in Kano. So then my friend Okwebamde, senator, went to Niger. Okay. Okwebamde is a state from Ekiti State. He went to Niger, and some other people. All of Sokumbo was in Lagos. Afikiomi was in Lagos. Some of us, fish. There are a lot of people. Some of the young, assembled including Tunji Bello, that the Delalaki and the rest of us. Some of us who are very young system that supported the bid of King Igwe Atiku. I mean, King Igwe, I MKO King Igwe. So all of us, we so a lot of intrigues took place. I remember I told you the ABM went to court. The military, because they were surprised that Nigeria were ready for them. They didn't want to leave the same. And it later played out. They were deceiving everybody. Because a lot of people said that there was an unwritten agreement between Babangida Habibi, he was president then, and Sani Abacha. To be there after that, one will take over. It was about 1990 because initially was supposed to leave by 1990. But there was Oka coup in April 1990 that we were told that Abacha saved them. So, and again, of course, he shifted the date of terminal date, the transition period went 1992. It didn't come to realization. So he now shifted again to 1993. We have had much pressure from Nigerians. So you could see, ABM went to court in 1990. I think on the 10th, they gave an interim order. On the 10th.
Why did you end that you?
Otto Zerebe.
Okay.
Otto Zerebe. There are so many. Otto Zerebe. Otto Zerebe was NZP, but he was the kingpin, was the national president of ABM, Association of Better Nigeria. They were the military were using them to score to the author. So they went, but again, there was so much agitation from Nigerians. So, and Babangida saw the mood, the military saw the mood and said, well, no problem, forcefully cancel, the election should go ahead. They didn't, they thought, of course, their thinking was that if Tofa coming from the north and MK coming from the south, that Tofa will, security report deceived them, thinking that Tofa will win. Okay. And that's what we saw. That's why I went to Kano. I was one that I did a lot of things in Kano on June 12th. So and there's no way. And again, must give credit to Abubakar Rimi in Kano. Abubakar Rimi did a human job in Kano. He supported Abila, he supported everything in Kano. And then Sule Lamido. They were all the they were Kano and Jigawa because they were together like Oyo and Osun. They were together just like Oyo and Osun. Yeah, so they did a very good job. So at the end of the day, the meeting thought probably Tofa will have won the election, will win. So, but again, they were wrong. So when they saw the result coming in Wosu, they went back to court again that election should be stopped. But again, for mind you, the result, everybody was having the result as at the 9th on Sunday on June 13th. In the 9th of June 13th, by 12, everybody had the result. The MQ had won overwhelmingly in many states, even many of the NRC states. I remember he won. NRC was in control of virtually of the states in the southeast state. They were, except Anambra that were in control. Ezeve was the governor, was SDP. We won in Akwa Ibom. We won Cross River. These were NRC states. Strong goal. We won Adamawa. Gongola. Adamawa, yes, Adamawa. That was in Adamawa was NRC state. We won virtually all the states. And it was alarming. The meeting was surprised. So they quickly went to work and said, well, the only thing they can do is they were using the judiciary. So just they went there to say that, okay, maybe again, they went to court and said, well, the results should be stopped. They got injunction, and again, that was a crisis. That was a crisis came in. Other state courts of equal jurisdiction also announced that a result must be released. No, must be released.
Okay.
Must be published. Of course, but everybody was having the result. So on June 23rd, there was unsigned statement released by Unduka Rabo, but people claim it was Unduka Rabo that released the unsigned statement that the result had been annulled.
Who is Unduka Rabo?
Unduka was the CPS secretary to Ahomo. Ahomo was the vice president.
Okay, to Babangida?
No, not to Babangida, to the vice president, the then vice president, meeting vice president, Augustus Ahomo. Okay. Akomo, yes. It was the vice president of Babangida. So people were afraid, they didn't want to name to mention. So they did sign the statement. There was on site. I read it. I had a statement in Nikon that day. We were in Nikon, we were in Abuja. So I saw the outside statement. They just said all the posters had been annulled.
But sir, let's now go to the struggle that followed and how you and some other people were detained. Yes. What led to your arresting?
Well, you were arrested. Well, you see, some of us, I was in the reps, as you said. I was. It's even more popular than that because my position was a clearinghouse for the senators. Okay. And some rep. So I was the SC to Wanda Bimbola, the leader of the Senate. Okay. I was the SC. I was in charge like a clerk in the House, in the Senate. I was like the clerk. So we had 53 senators of SDP. Okay. But we had 53. NRC had 38. So we were. When we saw the meeting, the way they were going, we saw that they deceived MQ Abiola. You know, there was a pronouncement by the Justice Adesanya in Lagos that said that the construction the interim national government oddly put together Babangida was illegal. So, and we expect people are calling the MQ Abiola to take the opportunity and form his government. But it wasn't so. It wasn't that easy. The military, the Sani Abacha was still around. Was the head was like a de facto vice president then. There was no vice president, but de facto because he was the head of the military and minister of defense in the cabinet of Ernest Soneka. Okay. So there's no way. So he came to Abiola. He came around to Abiola and said, well, this is what I'm going to do. That is going to take over the power. That it should allow him to take over the power. So that he will hand over to MQ Abiola.
Okay, Abacha promised.
He promised.
Abiola.
Yes, it's an open secret. He lobbied that he should allow the ING to take place. Then again, he went to court. Justice Adesanya of the Lagos High Court, after listening to the application and everything, she ruled that the ING construction was illegal. So we thought that MKO should use the opportunity, since MKO had won the election, that he should use the opportunity to form his government. But MKO didn't form his government. The military came here and said, well, look, the coup had not taken place at that time. So they came here and said, well, look, Abacha and the rest of them, David Mark, Dia, Guzo, all this, the top military brass, Guzo and the rest of them, they will allow MK Abiola to form government. They should take over and clean. That was to clean the system and allow MK Abiola. So it's very petty. They deceive everybody that they should allow. So when Abacha succeeded in taking over the government on November 17, 1993, he dissolved the political structure. All of us were sent home. He dissolved the political structure. All the political structure, that is the National Assembly, both House of Reps and Senate, all of us were sent back home. Then he also, all the governors, the State Assembly, local government were out dissolved. All the political structure. Then a full-blown military came in. So we thought, MKO also thought that, everybody thought that, look, because they were out of the top brass were blaming IBB, that it was IBB that just want to go. Not knowing fully with that. Some of these people, they had an agenda.
Sir, from there, can we exonerate IBB from the whole political?
That's how we can exonerate IBB.
Okay.
Later, when we met him, later in the course of subsequent attempt at democracy, when we met him, I said, well, it shouldn't be, it can't be. The leadership, all the box top the stable. It was the leader, it was the president, and commander-in-chief. So that's why we could exonerate IBB. IBB was neck deep in the whole thing. People said he doesn't want to leave. People said he has unwritten agreement with Abacha. And again, IBB had to be forced to step aside on 27th of August, 1983. He didn't wait, he left on 26th. He didn't wait to 27th. He didn't wait, so he left on 26th. So the forces, there were forces in the military that want Babangida out. There are some forces that want him to stay, to regulate some of this. And again, before that time, before he left, they've instructed the INEC that during the ING, that ING will be there for 6 months, then there'll be election again. And we said, no way. There's another election that subsists, the MK Abiola election, June 12. So that's how we started the Wala. We started the crisis. When Abacha came in, he dissolved everybody. He dissolved MK Abiola. But when we realized that Abacha was also playing prank, initially he told us that he was going to have a civilian deputy. So that he said be for a short while to correct the anomalies of the past government. That he will be there for just a while. There's a short while that he's going to do this, he's going to do that, he's going to do some of that. He was going to normalize everything and hand over to the winner of election. We didn't come. So that's why this war started.
Sir, let's now go to when were you arrested, and when and where were you arrested?
Yeah, Nadeko, we see after when Abacha came in November, he came with a full-blown military government. Okay. Military, full-blown. All the agreement with MK Abiola, he scattered them. Except he put some of the best brain, he put some of them as a minister, like Wole Ileshe in Ibadan. The rest of the people, Wole Ileshe, Emisa Abatakwe from Osun, Lateef Jakande from Lagos, and Abubakar Rimi, and a lot of people were put to go.
There was an allegation that those people betrayed your...
No. You see, I wouldn't say, because when I was in Adeko, I had to look at the face of my Egma, Emisa Abatakwe,
okay,
that he should resign. But later I realized that, look, you don't blame these people. We asked some of them to resign. Look at what happened to Ibru, Alex Ibu, the guidance guy. He was Minister of Internal Affairs. He was attacked. Look at Onogorua. Onogorua was killed in the process.
After he resigned?
No, after he resigned, they killed. He was a serving minister. Oh. His son was killed. So you could see, so there was so much danger. The military came out with full-blown military government. So he deceived about that. Look, he said, Bamanga took and some of them from NRC, Shiroma from NRC, they were all brought to government. Jerry Ghana, everybody. Jerry was from SDP. They brought all of them, Emisa Abatakwe, into government. So he thought that he was going to bring a national government, Abacha. But bring national government is a signal that he's going to right the wrong and bring MKO Abiola. But later, he reneged. So he said they should bring the MKO. So honestly, they brought Jakande. It was same time. So you could see that he deceived everybody. But later we asked all of them to resign.
So when
we formed NADECO, we formed NADECO in April, May 1994. We formed NADECO. The NADECO simply was to fight for the injustice to restore the June 12 and to call for democracy in Nigeria. That's how we started. And to say principally for the mandate of Abiola should be fully, that was fully given by Nigeria, should be actualized, should be sworn in as president and commander-in-chief. That's how we started in 1994.
So when then you were arrested?
Yes, you know, we started. Some of our leaders started. We started in Lagos, but we said to go and establish branches. So we went to Oyo State, to establish a branch, very formidable. After the national is only Oyo, that you see that very formidable. We went back to Oyo, myself, Comrade Laoni, who's not late, Benga Awosode, Moshood Rubami, and Pekwa Awosokan was a former majority in the House of Assembly of Oyo, and a lot of other people, credible Nigerians. All that, even we have the support of our governors. Shaka Adeleke supported us, and Kolakpo Shola, and a lot of other senators too. They're in the board and the house. So we were all members. Lam Adesina in particular. Lam Adesina, who later became a governor in Oyo, was the chairman.
Okay.
How the secretary as well. Lam Adesina was the chairman. Comrade Laoni was the deputy. I was the secretary and spokesperson for the NADECO state there. So I was arrested. I see after series of meetings, of course, they will call. We wonder something. We don't know. Because some of us study with psychologists too and the security thing. So they were we were arrested many times. At times when they arrested us, they took us to Yaganku in Ibadan. Yaganku is the CID office, is the CID operation. They take us there. Then after fourth or fifth attempt that were arrested, of course they would detain us there. We were taken to Lagos, to Alagbon.
Alagbon in Lagos. Then you faced prosecuted.
When we were Alagbon, we were the first set to be taken to Alagbon. Then Beko, myself, Taiwo Akeju, and Comrade Laoni, we were the leaders of the party. They didn't say Lam. I think Lam escaped also. Lam Adesina escaped. So we were taken to Alagbon. Myself and Laoni from Ibadan. Then Beko Asam Kuti, former NBA president. And of course, very hard, a city leader, is a former Nigerian activist to the core. So, Dr. Beko Asam-Kuti was he came to meet us, and then the following day, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu was then Senator Bola Tinubu was also. So we were the first four. Then later, about a week or 2 weeks after, Joe Oke
was also
yes, was also brought to Alagbon. Yes, so we were the one that was taken to Alagbon.
So
1994.
It was Gani Fawehinmi that stood for you.
Yes. You see, it was a long battle. So when we were Alagbon, of course, people would come to us. I remember one day that Fela came to us. We were just talking about you hear people say now you don't have gun. So Fela and a lot of people would come to us to visit us because Fela, senior brother to Beko. So it will come, of course, it has not been the struggle. Fela has also been the struggle too. Remember, I said in 1978, the Kalakuta. So he has only been on the side of people. So he supported a bit. So thereafter, after much persuasion and pressure from international community and Nigerians, and again, lucky enough, Onogoruwa was the Attorney General of the Federation. Olu Onogoruwa was the Attorney General. Very forthright, nice, credible Nigeria was the Attorney General. So he bowed to the pressure. He went to Abacha that these people must be prosecuted for treason and treason fellow. So we're taken to court at Alagbon. I mean, we're taken to federal court in Queens Drive, Ikoyi. All of us, Bola Tinubu, myself, Olaoni, and Beko, were taken to court for treason, for trials. During the World Cup. So what I woke up there. Yes.
The 1994.
Yeah, I remember what you woke up Nigeria and the
so let's now talk about the reality on ground now. the struggle and every other thing that you actually went through then, and then considering the democracy of today,
Yes.
are we actually in the same line? What you fought for, is it realistic?
Yeah, to some extent, because you see, at times they say there is this philosopher that said that a society gets leaders it decide. It decides. So we did our best. I remember we went through the democracy, we went through all those things, all those periods, and we let Nigerians start committing us that look, Abacha and the military had nothing good for Nigeria. That the only solution to our problem and for Nigeria, because there must be justice at the end of the day. He said they are calling for peace. I was so fat. They called me, I was so fat. People came to me and said, look, Akeju, you are the one causing wahala in the Southwest. Look, they said they should go and be commissioner. And they came to me in 1995, Baba, may so rest in peace. Baba, nice man. I said, Baba, I can't be a commissioner under the military. MK Abiola is still in detention. All of my colleagues are still there. So we started, I said, look, military must go. Let Abiola come. Abiola has a mandate just 4 years. If after 4 years, let Abiola come and let install Abiola. Because if there will be progress, do democracy, there will be a lot. So the military did not allow us. At the end of the day, after there was, of course, you know, the massacre, there was demonstration, and there was so much tension in the land. And at the end of the day, Abacha passed on. We expected the military to listen MKO to us. A month after, MK was dead. What do we do? How do we start? The mandate, the symbol of the mandate has been killed in detention.
So, MK, are you saying that MK who was killed in detention or he died?
No, I wouldn't say it was killed. Yeah. MK was killed in detention. What happened to him? He was killed.
Was there any probe into how?
There was a lot of probe, of course, you know. There was a lot of probe, but the Nigerians, you can't tell anybody that fought on the side of the people and tell them that, look, Abiola died naturally. It was natural cause. It was not because we believe that they try to balance the two, Abacha and Meko Abiola. They take,
after Abacha left,
yes,
Abdul Salam came.
Yes, Abdul Salam.
So it was the government of Abdul Salam that orchestrated, or let me say, that oversaw the murder of.
I wouldn't say I was Abdul Salam to some extent had good intention.
Okay.
To some extent, because he invited some of our leaders, Kubola Ige, Abraham Adesanya, for briefing. He met them after the demise of when he came on board. Even I think even proud to the MKO said death, because they'll say 1 month period before MKO, before they kill MKO. Yeah, so he had good intention, but we asked him. The starting point is let MKO Abiola be out of detention. If MKO is out of detention, if you want to negotiate with him, you can negotiate. MKO Abiola was voted for by Nigerians.
In 2018, President Muhammadu Buhari gave the national honor, the highest honor in the land, GCFR, to late MKO Abiola, and also he gave the GCON to Babagana Kingibe. What can you say about this? Are these good moves to to compensate?
We're so sad that MKO was not alive to receive it. It was a confirmation by. We thank President Buhari for that patriotic and gallant move that was on MKO Abiola. It's a welcome development. We thank him for that. It's that at the end of the day, the Nigerian government came out to recognize that MKO Abiola won the election. After many years, 1990, 2000, that's how many years now? I mean, that's 1993.
1993, that's 25
years. That MKO was recognized. I was given the highest honor. This year as a president. Of course, people are saying they should call him president. But he has honored that. He has done that. So he knew that there's no way he wanted to be president. That he knew that there's no way it could be. When the issue of national question, MKO Abiola, nobody will take her. So the military decided ourselves. The best things for the two major political parties, the PDP and the APP there, to bring in
Yoruba person.
No, yes, no, somebody from the south, they spell Yoruba. So that's why the APP feeded Olufalai,
Chief Olufalai.
Chief Olufalai, and the Shinkafi, Fulani Ethiopia, and MK Abiola with Atiku Abubakar.
Olusegun Obasanjo and
Yes,
Atiku Abubakar.
yes, I can't name Obasanjo because I remember in when Obasanjo came back from detention, when he left detention in 1998, they asked us, the leadership, we are the leaders of PDP then. I was the scribe of PDP, the Southwest. So we went to him with Baba Falabi, Chief SM Falabi, myself, Professor Tunde Adeniran, Segun Agagu, Professor Segun Kuye, all of the Tita Jalaku, went there and said, we are the leaders of the party, that we have demanded that you are the next. I raised his hand up as spokesman for the party. And that was it. So before I went to Jos,
Sir,
there's no way you can tell anybody that. I say a lot of people don't even know about any military government. They saw that some of them are born into era of democracy. Some of our young to the 20, somebody that was born 22 years ago, they didn't know anything about military. And if anybody in the military wanted to be anything, maybe to aspire, he should resign his commission and come and join politics. That has been happening. You can see many retired general. You can see many officers.
Captain, thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner. What we have done today is a refilling session with you because you have been able to take us through all the pre and even posts that have to do with Chief Obafemi Awolowo.
Our leader.
So that was a very nice session, and then that actually concludes our special June 12 package. And it was the Commissioner for Political Affairs and Intergovernmental Relations in the state of Osun, Honorable Taiwo Akeju. He has been able to tell us how the struggle was and how where exactly we are today and how we are finding as a nation and how our democracy is going through, what our democracy is going through. Those were very, very interesting sessions with the first one with Mr. Let me say Comrade. He said he likes Comrade, but he likes Mr. But I prefer calling him Comrade. Comrade Waheed Saka, the convener of Dialogue 365. And the other one was with a commissioner in Osun State, somebody who was part and parcel of the struggle. He has told us what he went through and the people that were part and parcel of this struggle, the people that they fought to ensure that, you know, the election of June 12, 1993 and the results and the precedent that emerged came into being. But, you know, a lot of things actually happened as they are just narrated, and I believe we'll continue to learn from it. There were wonderful sessions with the two persons, and we'll continue to watch as our democracy gets older and older on daily basis. I am Jare Tiamiyu. My crew member, Mayowa Ajayi, Idowu Bamidele, Saheed, and Fatima. Thank you for working with me. Till some other time when I come your way with another interesting edition, please ensure you stay safe.